Guys, breaking down first UFC card of 2024. Let's get started. We got Felipe Bunes versus Joshua Van. And in this fight, I think that Joshua Van, he's a good striker. It's his third fight in the UFC, and he's only 22 years old. That's experience right there. That means the man knows what he's doing. And I think that he can defend takedowns because Felipe Bunes, he's a black belt. He has good submissions, and that's the only way that he wins this fight is if he gets submissions and get or control on the ground versus Joshua. And I think Joshua, he will make grapplers grind, and Felipe Bunes isn't no wrestler anyways, you know, like he's not a grind out kind of guy. He's more of like that slick BJJ type. Joshua has pretty good power too, and like I said, I think Joshua's probably not going to knock the man out, but I think he'll take him to a decision, and yeah, decision. Joshua Van, that's my call. Easy. Next, we got Nicholas Mata versus Tom Nolan, and Nicholas Mata is a veteran. Tom Nolan, he's making his debut, but I think that Tom Nolan wins this fight. But I'm not going to put money on it because Tom Nolan's making his debut. Okay, if that makes any sense. But Nicholas Mata, he is a good striker. He's going to have to mix in some wrestling to win this fight. He's just going to have to. He's going to have to actually, I think, lean on the wrestling, or he's going to get pieced up the entire fight. I don't think he gets knocked out, but I think it's going to be another decision, a one-sided decision striking-wise. I think it's going to be Tom Nolan, decision. Next, we have John Silva versus Weston Wilson. And I love Wonder Boy. And I've seen Weston Wilson on a lot of his videos. Weston Wilson seems like a good guy, but I think that he's going to get knocked out in the first round. And the only reason why is because he just doesn't seem very comfortable on the feet. He seems pretty hesitant, and he doesn't have great wrestling. And he has good jiu-jitsu, but not great wrestling. Again, you see that a lot where guys have, you know, good submission skills, but they can't get it to the ground, and I think this is one of them cases. John Silva's not no crazy good striker, but I think that he has enough power to probably knock out the man. So yeah, I'm going to go first round. John Silva, knockout. I like to see Weston Wilson pull something off. That'd be awesome. But John Silva, knockout. First round. Next, we have Farid Basharat versus Taylor Lapilus. And I think that Farid Basharat and Javid, both potential champions, possibly. You know, I mean, contenders, you know, fighting up there, fighting for him. Especially Javid. But breaking down this fight, I'm going to go Farid Basharat. I think he has to mix in the wrestling to win. I don't think he's just going to stand with Taylor and win all night. Taylor's a very good striker, very good kickboxer. But Farid has really good takedown timing, you see, and Taylor Lapilus has good takedown defense. But I think that's going to crash because of the striking. Farid's not no joke on the feet either. I mean, I don't think he's quite as good as Taylor, but I think that he's good. And I think that he's going to be creating that distance with his kicks and then timing good takedowns. And I think he can get this fight to the ground. So that's my prediction. I got Farid Basharat probably by decision, mixing in the wrestling and piecing up Taylor a little bit on the feet. Decision, Farid. Next, we have Preston Parsons versus Matthew Simmelsberger. I like Simmelsberger. I think he's a dog. I like how he likes to get in there. He likes to box. He's aggressive. But in my opinion, I think that Preston Parsons is such a good grappler. And he's got pretty good wrestling, too. I think that he'll be able to get this fight to the ground and get a submission. But I will say one thing, is if I was going to be betting, which I know a lot of you guys like to bet, and I like to bet myself, I would go with Preston Parsons by submission or Matthew Simmelsberger by TKO. Because I think that if Preston can't get this to the ground, there's going to be a lot of problems on the feet. Because Matthew Simmelsberger, like I said, he's a dog and he's aggressive. But I do think Preston's going to get to the ground. So I'm going to go Preston, submission, early. Nah, actually, I don't know. It might be late. I ain't going to put a time limit on it, but I do think Preston gets a submission. That's my call. Next, we have Marcus McGee versus Gaston Bolanos. And I like Marcus McGee. He's coming off back-to-back finishes. Trains with Sean O'Malley, and he's older, and I'm enjoying watching this man make a run. I hope that he can keep going on. So I am going to go with him in this fight. I think that he does need to mix in some takedowns. I think that he wins by like 100% finish. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that it's either going to be a submission or it's going to be a TKO. I don't know for sure. If I was going to make a guess, submission. I would put down submission if you want to go for some crazy stuff. But I would just put a finish in all. Under 2.5 rounds, Marcus McGee. Mark my words, under 2.5 rounds, Marcus McGee. It's going to be like a ground and pound or a submission. Next, and I'm torn in this fight. Truly, I am torn in this fight between Andre Arlovski and Waldo Cortez Acosta. And I'll tell you why, because I don't think that Waldo is like this crazy good fighter at all. And I don't think that Andre Arlovski is in his prime anymore. You know what I'm saying? But if Andre shows up, if he had like a good camp and he just comes up and shows up one more time, like the old Andre, I think that he can mix in some takedowns, beat up the legs, come off the kicks with punches, and do some damage versus Waldo. Because I see a lot of people going for Waldo, and I mean, yeah, it makes sense, but I might even go for the underdog, Andre, in this with betting, because if Andre shows up, I mean, the man he's a good experienced fighter, and I think he can beat Waldo Cortez Acosta. I don't think he's a very good fighter. So yeah, I'm going to go Andre Arlovski, but I wouldn't be surprised if Waldo wins. I mean, everybody else is going for him, but I'm going to go ahead and go for Andre. Andre by decision, mixing in the wrestling and the striking, and just being a well-rounded fighter. Next, Gabriel Menendez versus Jim Miller. Now, if I was going off of like just looking at it, I think that Jim Miller needs to mix in some takedowns. I think that he needs to stop the kicks up and time the kicks with takedowns or time the kicks with punches. So every time this man throws a kick, you got to come off with some boxing, or you got to come off with some boxing into takedowns. And I have a bad feeling, though. I have a bad feeling. I've been having it that Jim Miller is going to get hurt in this fight. He's going to lose, and he won't be able to fight UFC 300, and it's going to be rude. That's my call. I hate to say that. That's my bet. Jim Miller is going to get hurt and not be able to fight in UFC 300, and we're all going to be bummed out about it. So, yeah. In this fight, I want Jim Miller to win, and I think Jim Miller can win, but I have a bad feeling that Gabriel's going to win. So, yeah, I'm going Gabriel, but technically, I would say Jim wins, but I just have a bad feeling. If that makes any sense. Next, Phil Hawes versus Bruno Fieta, and I think Phil Hawes is the next champ. No, I'm joking completely. I think Phil Hawes is very well-rounded, but I think that he's chinny, and he's coming off the most devastating knockout of his career, in my opinion. I think that Bruno has that power and is going to knock out Phil Hawes, because Phil Hawes can't get this fight to the ground. I mean, Bruno has very good takedown defense. What, Phil Hawes is going to go here and become, you know, Colby Covington or something? Start chain wrestling on this man? No. He's going to come in here, he's going to fail a couple takedowns, and he's going to get slept on the feet. Under 2.5 rounds, Phil Hawes is asleep. That's my call. Next, Ricky Simón versus Mario Batista. And this fight, is a banger, I think, but it's going to turn out to be boring. But I think that it's like a banger matchup, you know what I'm saying? It's two very good grapplers, and if you like grappling, that's going to be a good one. I think Ricky Simón's going to get the takedowns, and he's going to boring wrestle Mario Batista. But Mario Batista is always going to be live for like a submission or something, you know what I'm saying? There's always a chance Mario Batista can pull off something submission-wise. He's crazy grappler, and I think he's got underrated grappling too. A lot of people kind of see him as like this like striker anymore, because you know I think he won his last fight. He kind of struck to a decision in his last fight, but this man finishes. I will say that. I think he finished Brian Kelleher with a guillotine real quick. Could be wrong, but he trains with Sean O'Malley. He's giving Sean O'Malley the work. He's getting that work with the champ. You know what I'm saying? But I think Ricky Simón's going to hold him down. He's going to get the takedowns, and Ricky Simón ain't no joke, man. I mean, just because he lost to Song Yadong, I mean, Song Yadong is the real deal, and we see that. And I don't think Mario Batista is quite as athletic as Song Yadong. He's just a good grappler, but I think he's going to get controlled on the ground, and he's going to try to play that BJJ game too much once he does get taken down. So, yeah, I'm going to go Ricky Simón. Decision. Next, we had Manel Kape versus Matthias Nicolau, but you've seen what happened there. Manel Kape's non-professional. Then we got the main event, Johnny Walker versus Magomed Ankalaev 2. And Johnny Walker's huge Brazilian. You know what I'm saying? Magomed, this man is the future champ, I think. I think that he is the best light heavyweight in the world right now. And it's just the way that things have kind of fell for him. Especially with that like fight with Jan and stuff. Bad luck, but I think that he's the best in the world right now at light heavyweight. And I think he's going to come into this fight and he's going to wrestle Johnny Walker, because he shot early in the last fight. And he don't really shoot a lot in a lot of fights. He likes to strike. He shot early against Johnny Walker because he knows Johnny Walker's dangerous. And I think he's going to shoot, and I think he'll end up subbing Johnny Walker, or he's going to finish Johnny Walker by TKO if it does stand on the feet, if Johnny can actually stop the takedowns. So, yeah, I'm going to go Magomed by finish, and that's my call. And, guys, that's my predictions for the fights this weekend. And I hope everybody enjoys them. I'm just glad we have him back. Gosh, it was tough without him for the last few weeks. But I'm going to be way more on next week, on time with everything. It's been a weird week for me this week. But next week I'll have all the fights for UFC 297, and we're going to get it broke down quick. I'll have it all ready for you. Thanks, guys. Please subscribe. For real. Love you guys. Thanks.